Hi everyone. Welcome to the next session. It's a fireside chat with TM Lee, the co-founder and CEO of CoinGecko, one of the leading crypto data aggregator in the space. Hi there, TM.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Okay. Without further ado, let me start off with maybe you can introduce. I mean, there's in the audience, there's probably some of the guys who are already familiar with CoinGecko, but for those who probably been here for the first time and want to study and understand a little bit more on the crypto space, maybe you can give them a little bit of introduction about CoinGecko and what you do, please.
Yeah, sure. So CoinGecko is basically a cryptocurrency data aggregator. Pretty much, if you want to find out about a token, a particular token, what is it trading at, what price is at, the market cap, the volume, the markets that is trading this token. Typically, you can come to CoinGecko and check it out. So you can think of it as a Yahoo Finance where you want to look up stocks, and then if you want to look up crypto and tokens, CoinGecko is a place to be. So currently, we are aggregating about more than, I think, 7,000, close to 10,000 cryptocurrencies, and already tracking over like 400 to 500 exchanges. I imagine this number will continue to grow. We think that there will be a time in the future, near future, where there's going to be millions and millions of tokens representing all kinds of assets in the world.
I see. Yeah, I'm one of the big fans. So with my role at strategic partnership within SCB 10X, I also have to Google quite a lot. And most of the time when I look at DeFi and crypto, CoinGecko is probably one of the top search on my Google list. Uh, so can you share your view a little bit on the situation right now in the crypto space and how you see the recent market crash and the future of crypto?
Yeah, I think the recent, looking at trends, market trends, long term and short term. I think long term wise, we are on an upward trajectory. I mean, we have seen this even way back in 2013, which is one of the massive bear market when Mt. Gox collapsed, and then people who have believed in the space, who have a long term view. At the time, Bitcoin went up to about $1,300 and it crashed down to $200. And look at where it is right now. So we are going through ups and downs and a lot of sort of like changes in the space, a lot of innovation. I mean, it's not going to be smooth, but this is always going to happen. Like there's always going to be speculators coming in to sort of like take advantage of the volatility, and then there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. So I think in the long term we are on pretty good shape. But in the short term, there's always going to be very sentiment here and there, especially right now, because we have seen a strong rise in the past months with DeFi, with NFT, and then now with somewhat pay to earn and stuff like that. But sometimes in the short term, there's always going to be massive correction when someone wants to take profit together with all the negative news that's come in. But I think all in all, in the long term, we're in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Okay, great. And CoinGecko yourself is very well known for how you bootstrap your way with the crypto business. Can you share with us a little bit on why you take that approach versus the other player who probably more of a kind of fundraising type?
Yeah. So like there's many reasons why we ended up taking the bootstrap route. So I think number one, when we started CoinGecko back in 2013 or 2014, it was largely a side project to us. So we were like myself and Bobby, my co-founder, were both really just interested in crypto, and we saw a gap in the data space. So we just got in, we created a side project called CoinGecko, and then just roll this out, and then we just wait and see what happens, right? And then time after time, we improve the product, and then there's some traction over there. So there's not much of an expectation where we go to the market with this product and we want to raise like a lot of money to make this happen. So like that's how it kind of started. And then as to why we didn't decide to raise any round of funding along the way was also because in 2014, after the collapse of Mt. Gox and we were into the bear market, we saw a lot of crypto companies raise like fresh funding from VCs at the time. But because the bear market lasted for really long, like it lasted for about 3 years, I think. And in most cases, when you raise your first round from a VC, like a seed funding or maybe a Series A, your runway is typically only for 2 years. And if your bear market lasts longer than your runway, then you're going to be in a very difficult situation. And a lot of crypto companies at the time either pivoted or maybe shut down in a very worst case scenario. Only a couple of them managed to survive the additional one more year where the bull market in 2017 came in with ICOs, and then they ride on top of that wave, right? So, and then when 2017 happened again, you see a bunch of companies fundraising, and then you got a bear market coming in. So we saw all this cycle, and we thought not having a funding round will give us the flexibility to survive through the cycle and ensure that we stay in business for as long as possible. Looking at the situation right now, I think things have changed a little bit. But right now, at this point in time, we still have not raised any round, and we want to keep that flexibility as well. There's also a couple of other reasons in the sense that we also want to stay as a neutral player for as long as possible, because that's what takes with the community and what the user wants. So so that's a couple of the reasons why we decided to bootstrap all the way to today.
I see. And off from the all crypto area, you could have done broker, exchange, or other thing. Why a crypto data aggregator is the area that you select?
Yeah, I think back in 2014, when I was brainstorming an idea with Bobby, like what should we do in the crypto space? I think one of the obvious idea was to build an exchange based off in Malaysia, right? Because we are based in Malaysia, and there wasn't really a proper exchange over there. So why not do an exchange? Because every country has its own individual exchanges that acts as a local fiat gateway. We think that wasn't something that we are good at. Like we realized that myself, I'm a software engineer, and I like to iteratively build products and services. And then Bobby has a marketing background, and we don't think we have the strength to launch an exchange because there's a lot of regulatory hurdles that we need to learn and find out how to get it working. And then also, if we were to get that working, there's a lot of operational overhead that it won't be a bootstrap idea. We have to go into a VC funding mode. We have to be absolutely convinced that this is the exchange that's going to be able to gain all the market share in that local geographical region. So we didn't think that was a business that we are good at the early stage. So that's why we decided to shelve that off first. And the second idea was also to get involved something related to mining. I think at that time, Bitcoin mining was one very profitable business as well. Like if you can scale up your mining operation and do it in a disciplined manner, that could potentially be a great idea as well. So, but again, that's also not something that we are good at. So we decided to do data aggregation, which Bobby and I, we have complementary skills. We can build this software up and running and get it out there in the market. But also keep in mind, like back in 2014, there was no Ethereum. So it was largely just a Bitcoin affair and some altcoins. So your ideas and products are limited to what, at that time, the problem that you can address.
I see. Okay. So can you share with us a little bit also on the crypto data aggregator landscape, and probably on how you position yourself with regards to the other, potential competitor within that space?
Yeah, so I think when we started off, we were player number 10, or maybe just a very, very small player, but we slowly fine tune the product and grow over time. If you compare it to now, like back then, the number of competitors, I can definitely count them. As we grow our company, we can identify maybe 4 to 5 key competitors. There are big ones, there are small ones. But it was largely just a very small group of players doing data aggregation, because I think it is not an easy task to do, and it's also something that people don't pay full attention to. Like people always, like you mentioned, they always start an exchange, something to do with the transfer of flow of transaction. That's what they want to capture. But now, with the recent bull run last year, we're starting to see all kinds of flavors of data aggregation coming in. Especially with DeFi, the whole protocol and the way data are structured is very different than how we built CoinGecko in the first place. Like CoinGecko was built to aggregate centralized exchange, because back then there was no other way you can trade all these tokens on coins. There's no DEX, there's no Uniswap, there's no Bancor, no SushiSwap. You can only go to the centralized exchange and make those trades. So that's why CoinGecko was designed in such a way that we aggregate all this data from different exchanges so that users can find out where they can find this coin and trade them. But these days you got data aggregators that are built on top of an on-chain data, or even data aggregators that are built to sort of track every different kind of segment, maybe money markets or NFTs and stuff like that. So the space has definitely broadened very hugely. Whereas for us, I think how we want to position ourselves is we just want to continue to do what we do best, which is giving a holistic view of the market, index as many tokens as we can. As we've mentioned, there's going to be 1 million tokens in the next 2 years. And so we're building all the infrastructure, all the operational work to get to that point in time. So yeah, I think we're not too heavily concerned with what competitors are doing. I think everyone is in this space, doing what they're good at and what their strength is. And as for us, we just want to focus on what we are doing, and we may sort of like diversify our feature into different like segment if we think that that's what users really want to see.
Yeah, and since you mentioned about the on-chain data aggregator or the data oracle, how so I'm just trying to understand on what is CoinGecko trying to be, right? There's a spectrum around whether you want to be like, I know you probably answered this many times, like Bloomberg terminal for all the institution, or you want to be platform where mass can subscribe to and get all this information that they need to make, investment, or eventually you will move into, the on-chain data since you have accumulated so much insight through your platform. So how do you see yourself in the future around this space?
Yeah, I think we get that question a lot. Like, do we see ourselves becoming a Bloomberg terminal, or there's such a flavor, right? I'm actually not 100% sure because also, if you use a Bloomberg terminal before, you would know that how it works is very different than how you would look at a DeFi portal and on-chain data and stuff like that. It's not exactly the same kind of thing. So I think one part of me also feel that maybe the Bloomberg terminal in the crypto space or in DeFi will be of a different flavor. It will be entirely different. That I don't know how we're going to get there, but it might be of a different form. And when we started CoinGecko again, like it was a centralized exchange aggregator. And then when we started to integrate like Uniswap, Sushi, and Balancer, and all these different dexes, we had a little bit of trouble like making sure the data works well with our legacy system. So that making that shift was a little bit difficult, but we managed to pull it off. But of course, right now it's getting more and more challenging because you've got so many blockchains that are launching, so many dexes with different mathematical formula and their chains and everything. So the challenge for us right now is trying to find that balancing point where we continue to maintain the legacy system and adapt to all the latest DeFi protocols and be able to then show the data as though like a normal user would want to look for a token, right? We don't want to make it so complicated for any user to understand and whatnot. So I think in terms of a spectrum, like even for ourselves, we are a business, we are a centralized service, and our role is also to provide most accurate information to users. I think back then, last year, when a token is launched, if you go to an on-chain explorer and look up at this particular token, you'll get like maybe 10 different tokens with the same name. I think one of the things that we do was to really identify like which token is the real token that is issued by the team. So all these kind of added on services to ensure that the users get the information that they want on our site is our focus. But as the protocol evolve and the industry evolve, we have to find a fine point that we can coexist and make sure that we can deliver the same service while adapting to the technical challenges that comes in.
Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty clear on what you guys are focusing on and the quality of the data and the information. So the reason why I ask that is because also right now we see a lot of the interest from the institutions, and I think institutions are more and more trying to understand on this industry. Of course, with that background, they probably only have heard of Bitcoin and the word DeFi, and they don't know much, but somehow with the wisdom of the crowd, I think they are looking into the space. So is this, would you consider this the segment that you might be explore potential opportunity, and how do you foresee yourself, with the institution if it were to become the segment that, you would be interested?
Yeah, I think the institutional segment is definitely one that we cannot ignore. We saw the growth in the space, and then we also got like requests of people coming in that ask us like, do you provide institutional grade kind of data and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that we get a lot, and we cannot ignore that. But that being said, like we also want to play to our strengths. So when we look at ourselves, like where we are good at, like, we started off as a very retail centric website. we focus on the long tail of assets, and we also ensure that the assets that gets tracked for the prices, gets tracked as soon as possible whenever new assets comes in. And then, as you mentioned, that the institutionals, they only focus on very small key assets like say Bitcoin or some DeFi top tokens and stuff like that. And then the kind of data they're looking at, the depth is also very different when it comes to this smaller pool of assets. So, like one thing that we ask ourselves is, should we like create a new division within our company to focus on institutional? I mean, we could do that, but then if we would take that route, like we will then have to compete with all the other players as well. And this is not something that we have a very strong foundation in, because our entire like stack is built for retail. So again, I think we will probably make a foray into this over the long term, with the bet that we think that the kind of data that institutions will be looking for in the future will be very different than what they want right now. And we're probably investing in something that they don't know that they want today, maybe hopefully in the future. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And this question is probably from the VC out there. So what's your plan around, monetization strategy? I understand that a lot of data you provide, anyone could have looked at it. What's your plan?
Yeah, I think for CoinGecko, our monetization strategy has always been pretty straightforward, which is advertising based. So we provide the website, the app with all the data and all the information for free to users, and then we work with ad partners to monetize the content. So that's like the first part. We've been doing that for a while, but we're looking to diversify our revenue stream further. Because the ad revenue sort of like tie in with the market, which is not something that we want to take in as a risk. If you've been following us recently, we've been launching a couple of new products. So one of it is a subscription service on CoinGecko. So basically, it's a CoinGecko Premium where you can just pay a subscription and you get like all kinds of benefit from us. So that's one thing that we're experimenting with. The other one is an API. So we started off with a free API. Which the community love, and they've been using it for a long time, and been iterating the API to make sure that it solves all the developers' problem. And then I think recently we get like a lot of requests from some developers who want something more than that. Like they want it in their Excel sheet, they don't want rate limits, they want all kinds of flexibility. So we have crafted a sort of like a pro API package that we can sell to all these developers and all these companies that want like long tail asset data and whatever data that you can see on CoinGecko in a nice to accept manner. So that's the third one. And lastly, will be like educational and info products. So we launched how the first DeFi book in the world, How to DeFi, last year, and that has gone on the shelf. It's on sale, and then we also revised that book again. And there's going to be more and more additional content that we think we could put a price tag to, which would then further diversify the revenue stream. So I think we're never short of experimentation with additional revenue streams. Just want to find something that works, and now it's a good time to try that.
Okay. Yep. And okay, so let's switch topic a bit. So recently, with the case that CoinMarketCap got acquired by Binance, and I mean there's definitely going to be some within the community thinking about they providing unbiased data and those kind of things. Did that kind of affect CoinGecko? How you think about doing fundraising, and also how do you remain neutral in the eyes of the community?
Yeah, I think that was one of the feedback that we got when the acquisition happened. Like people are saying that data aggregator shouldn't be owned by an exchange and stuff like that. So which is why we mentioned like it would be a good idea to remain neutral for as long as possible, and that's also like one of the mantra that we go for. So that is certainly some of the users in the space that definitely care about neutrality and things like that, and these are the community that we want to serve and work with. At the end of the day, I think all data aggregators want to aggregate the entire space, but it's just a perception of the market sometimes, right? That an exchange owned aggregator will be biased. Maybe they are not. Maybe it's not in their interest to do so as well. It's just a perception by the user. But whereas for us, because we have this flexibility, it's very clear that right now we are neutral, and all the data, we want to work with as many parties as possible.
Got it. And for those people out there who are want to get information, how do you sell CoinGecko versus, CoinMarketCap and, the strength of each platform and, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that for CoinGecko, like for us, we are always asking ourselves like what's going to happen in the next like 1 to 2 years, and then we build our features and products to gear for that. But I mean, in the crypto space, we can't ask ourselves what's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years. We have to ask ourselves what's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 months. So all the features and all the content and the stuff that you see on CoinGecko is always what we think the direction of the market will be heading towards. I mean, even if we are slow, we'll respond to it as quickly as we can. So I think like the strength for us is to continue to provide the most accurate information, the long tail asset that users want to see, and also the kind of metric that people are interested in. So like in terms of total value lock ratio against market cap, people want to see that. So we integrate third party services to give users that kind of metric. Or even like let's say users are using multiple chains and they want to copy contract all over the place, and then we create this copy contract feature for users to connect to their MetaMask and have make sure that they trade the right tokens and things like that. So we're always looking for ways to improve the product and make users' life easy as they interact with this crypto space, and that remains our focus. And we're just going to be laser focused on this area basically.
Okay. And in that case, would you mind sharing with us on what you guys are working on and when we can expect to see kind of new tools or new innovation that you plan to push out into the market, probably in the next quarter or two?
Yeah, I won't be able to share too much information, but we are sort of like researching and working on a couple of new products that we're toying with new ideas, with depending on where the direction of the space is headed. So maybe we might launch a secondary product or so in the next few months if things goes well. Again, we are just researching and experimenting with this. I mean, as far as the CoinGecko website is concerned, like I think the feature release happens like on a weekly basis. Like if you continually check CoinGecko, you will see that there is a loyalty program that you can collect like candies and accumulate these points and use these points to redeem like reward from our partners, right? So you could do that, and then as you play around, you will see there's a trending search, there is a new UI and things like that. So I think we are always iteratively improving the original website. So yeah, I think again, if all goes well, we'll have a new secondary product, but it really depends on how fast we can get this up and running. Yeah.
Yep, I'm trying to collect the point to get a free book at the moment. Okay. Okay, and another one is I understand that you also have CoinGecko Ventures. Can you share with us a little bit on what's the mandate for that and what have you been doing so far with that venture and how CoinGecko can leverage some of those investment into your product?
Yeah, I think the venture side. So actually, there's the CoinGecko venture is actually supposed to be Gecko Ventures, which is a sort of like an investment holding company that myself and Bobby invest in. So it's actually not directly related to CoinGecko. I think there's a bit of a marketing messaging there that's disconnected. But I think as far as myself and Bobby, we make angel investment in products, services, and company in the space that we believe in. And I think sometimes we try to see if there's any like indirect synergy with the company, but because it's a separate entity, there is no like direct relationship. But indirectly that we try to find some synergy if possible.
I see. So can you share with us on how many investment have you made so far, and is some of those investment have direct synergy with what you provided, like Dune Analytics or some other things?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many we have done. I think we've done like a dozen or so. Not too many. I mean, for us, like our main job, our main business is still running CoinGecko as a service, as the company, not so much an investment. So this is something that we just do on the side. But yeah, I think one example like Dune Analytics, like we talk to them on like ways to integrate data, and we also brainstorm about challenges in the data space, how we can help each other and stuff like that. And then also like some of the space where like NFTs and data aggregation that we don't really understand when new DeFi protocol launch. Sometimes this is also something that we see as a conversation that we have with all these companies that helps us to think about where the direction of the industry is headed and also we can provide some insights back to them as well when they look for. Yeah.
I see. I see. Okay. So we got around 5 minutes left. So actually, there is one more area that I like to pick your brain from is NFT. Can you share with us a little bit on whether NFT is here to stay, or is it a hype, or what is it? I mean, I've seen a lot of development around this space, especially, Thailand itself. We have a lot of, artists who are getting themselves onto NFT. Could you share your view on how you think this market will go?
Yeah, I think NFT is definitely going to be here to stay. Earlier when I mentioned that there's going to be 1 million tokens, it's going to be both fungible tokens that represents like currencies, game resources and stuff like that, and there's going to be non-fungible token as well that represents maybe real world assets or even like game assets and stuff like that. The reason why I think NFT is going to stay is because it's been around for many years already. Like I think since what's it called, Rare Pepe, and then move on to CryptoKitties and whatnot. This is like 2018, 2019 projects, and it has survived through the test of time over and over again. And right now we are seeing like the hype cycle. So it's similar to the crypto space, right? There's a hype cycle, and then it will go down, and then but inherently the technology will remain, and then builders will then continue to try to build and make it as easy as possible for the next wave of users to use it. So I think NFT by itself as a technology would definitely remain on itself. What would it be used for? I think it's definitely going to broaden its use case. The recent hype with NFT art and everything got people sort of like introduced to the idea of a non-fungible token in a digital manner, which is something that they're not used to. But now that they already understand that concept, and they've also understood like what Ethereum is, what the smart contract is, how MetaMask kind of work, I think the next wave will see like real mainstream adoption, right? People coming in using NFT to play games, for instance, and with the concept of play to earn, I think that also further reduced the barrier for people to get involved. Like back then, to get involved into crypto, you need to buy mining rigs, which is very technical. And then when you do DeFi, you need capital, right, to earn a yield and everything. But now with games, which is very, very familiar to most people, they just need to spend their time, their effort, and they can make some yield using NFT, which is like a yield generating asset. So I think the evolution is getting closer and closer towards something that people can really understand, and then that will take the space further to the next level.
Yeah, I think gaming industry is very interesting for the NFT, and I'm surprised not to see so many of those coming out.
You will come soon.
Currently, there's only one D store or something in the US. But what's the current holdup that gaming industry is facing, such that they can't digitize or tokenize those items onto the NFT?
Yeah, I think it's largely a couple of challenges, right? So if you look at legacy games, number one is they're not incentivized to tokenize their game resources, their game items, because they want to keep their their game economy, right, within their centralized system. So they're not pressured to do that. So we have to depend on new companies that are native to blockchain coming in to make this work. And I think like games like Axie Infinity, they've been starting off since like 2018. And at that time, you don't have DeFi, which means that your game items or your game resources have no market, right? You need to go to an exchange to trade them, which is very, very difficult to make that happen. And then also when you look at the infrastructure, there was no sort of like proof of stake chain that you can rely on, that you can depend on, that gets the support from the developers and whatnot. Yeah. So I think fast forward today, you're seeing a lot of infrastructure that is ready, both on the money market side, the exchange side, the scalability side, that makes game possible, and also coupled with the outgrowing interest of the public on what crypto is, how to use it. Finally, I think the market is getting closer towards getting ready compared to last year or even like 2 to 3 years ago when it was a really new concept. I mean, there were games, but they're not getting the traction that they deserve. But I think the time will be coming really soon. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I understand we kind of ran out of time. Do you have any quick last remark that you'd like to make before we end the session?
Yeah, I think last remark is if you want to learn more about CoinGecko, check out our website. You can get all kinds of information as you want. And I think last word is it's never too late to start learning about the crypto space. I mean, in the bear market, the best thing that retains with you is knowledge. So yeah, just keep learning and keep building our knowledge tree.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, TM Lee. It's great having you here, and thank you. We'll end the session now. Thank you.
Thank you.